Look around you on a day-to-day basis. The people you see around you, maybe it's friends, family, people you're seeing at the gym or at the office or wherever it is you go. What do you see? Do you see exceptional people all over the place that you want to emulate? Of course not. You see average people left, right, and center. If you're somebody who says, well, being average isn't bad, don't demonize it, click off the video. This isn't the video for you. This is a video to unlock unlimited motivation to be exceptional, to be the person you know you could be, and the person that achieves the goals that you want to set out to achieve. Perhaps you're lacking in some motivation. Perhaps motivation dives down, you fall off for a bit, you get back on when you're super pumped, you die down again, and the cycle continues. You never end up reaching your goals. Now, you will hear people say often it's not motivation, it's discipline, but that's only partially true. Motivation, underlying motivation, is actually there permanently for people that achieve their goals and surpass them. These exceptional people you see are constantly motivated. It's not that they aren't motivated, where they're getting terms mixed up. So if you feel like you get motivated for a week and then you fall off, get motivated for a month and then you fall off, that's not real motivation. So we're going to dive into exactly what it is, how to get motivated, and you got to stay until the end because this is a 5-step process to get to unlimited motivation, and each step builds upon the previous one in such a way where at the end it all comes together and you're going to finally unlock the motivation you've been looking for, the motivation you need that's everlasting, that'll keep you pushing towards your goals for eternity. So let's get started. My name is John Mango. If you are pursuing the best version of yourself, then you've come to the right place. Hit the subscribe button below and we'll get there together. So the first step is this. You must decide what matters and you must make it powerful. Let me set the stage for you. So life is essentially a video game. For those that don't understand this analogy, typically fail at life because life is literally a video game. Let's say you're forced to play this video game for perhaps 80 years if you're lucky. Most people stop progressing in this video game after 20 years and they stay the same and play the same exact level with the same exact character every single day for 60 years. Of course, that's not going to be us. We are playing this game. We say, hey, you know what? If I'm going to be playing this game and I have 80 years to enjoy playing the game, why not get the most out of it and make the most out of it, squeeze the most juice out of it? And that's what we're doing. Now, the video game has basic rules and it tries to guide you in certain directions throughout life. This may be the school system, your parents, your peers, teachers, whoever, right? These influences try to guide you along a certain path. Now, a big mistake that most people make is they start to believe that the path laid out for them is the best or the only one to follow. So the most classic is you go to school, you get a job, you buy a house, you have a family, and you die, essentially. Maybe travel a bit in the meantime, and that's it. You're broke, you're unhealthy, you're unhappy as a result, anxiety, depression, all these things come along with it. It's not a fun life, as most people know, because most people have that life. But unfortunately, for most of those people, they don't realize a very important fact about this video game. This video game is an open world RPG. For those that don't know what that means in video game terminology, it's an open world, meaning you can go wherever you want and do whatever you want, and it's an RPG, it's a role-playing game. You have full power over your character, over who you are, who you become, and what you achieve. So whereas most people might believe that, hey, this game has me set at this limit and I can't go beyond it, the truth is you can go far beyond that. In fact, your potential is limitless and you have 80 years to fulfill as high of a limit as you possibly can. So that's what we need to do first. We need to decide, how are you going to play this video game? And again, if you feel like you've done this, I get it, I've designed my dream life and my goals and all that, trust me, this has to be done in a very step-by-step process. It has to be very intentional, and you're gonna have to take a lot of time, probably a whole day, out to prepare yourself for this. Before we level up the character, we have to know what are we leveling them up for, and that is where we're going to decide what is it that matters to you. Again, most people just justify and say, hey, nothing matters, we're going to die anyway, what's the point of being fit, what's the point of trying to get rich and all this effort and this, that, if we're all going to die? Okay, that is a weak justification, but I would argue that perhaps not. Perhaps that is the justification that person has decided to put meaning to. If you want to achieve a goal, we must decide what is important. If you could have whatever you wanted in this game, what would it be? how much of it would it be? What would it look like? What would it feel like? What would this day-to-day life be, right? So yes, we're ultimately designing life based on what we believe matters most to us. So some of you may think that it's family. So for example, I personally want to build a family and raise kids in an exceptional way to create these exceptional beings that go and pursue and fulfill their dreams in life, because that's important to me. Why? Because I decided it is, because it'll make the video game more fun. Okay, so family, but then also health, right? What's your health going to be like, and why is that important? Because you decide to make it important. Because if you do that, how awesome would life be, right? And this is an exercise that we use to discover this underlying motivation. First is we need to decide what's important to us, and then visualize and try to attach the emotion. Why do we actually think this would be important? Oftentimes people, right off the bat, they already mess up at this point. At this whole goal setting process, they're already screwed, because they're coming in here saying, well, I want to be healthy to look better, and they'll stop there. How is that powerful enough? Look better is too transient, it's too superficial. We need something a lot deeper than that. We need to know, okay, if I look better, I'm going to be more confident. If I'm more confident, I'm going to achieve X, Y, and Z. If I achieve X, Y, and Z, I'm going to, and then you lead it to that thing that's so true and deep and powerful for you. Again, I'm going to be in the best position to raise my kids, or live the best life, or be able to provide for my spouse and my family or my parents or whoever it is. What we're going to do in this step is you're going to take basically a whole evening out. You can't just do this 5 minutes while you're watching some TV. By the way, TV, come on, you're still watching that shit. But anyways, you're going to take, whatever, a whole evening out, maybe a whole day, and you're going to spend time writing out and visualizing while you do it exactly what you want in detail. You have to do this as if there's no limit, okay? So everything you want in life, write it down. Most people are scared to do this in the first place. I want you to do that. You're going to write it all down. You're going to picture and visualize what it's going to feel like to have. Don't just write random shit down. If you picture and visualize it, you have no emotional connection, then it's probably not even that meaningful to you. But you're going to decide this is meaningful because of, and you're going to have this root meaning that you're going to attach to your life and why you want to do it all for. At the end of the day, we're all going to stop playing the video game at some point, but again, you are deciding how you're going to play it, how you're going to get the most out of it, and why it's important for you to do so. So we're designing our dream life. What is it you want? What's your dream family look like? You want a lot of women, you want a lot of men, I don't know, you want a lot of money, you want cars, you want traveling experiences, you want multiple houses, beach houses, you want mansions, whatever it is, material, non-material, experience, all of that. We're designing the dream life. What's the day-to-day look like? How much is that going to require financially? What sort of influence do you want? Maybe you want 1 million followers here, you want this, whatever it is, you're designing that. You're just writing these things down and putting it all on paper, bringing it out and bringing the emotion out with what it would feel like, and allow yourself to dream what it would be like to actually be in that position. Now, step 2 is we're going to build the character that you must be. Few people create goals, and out of those few people that create goals, very few achieve those goals, okay? And the reason why is because a lot of people that make goals stop at the goal setting process, which is what we just did. The truth is in order to achieve a goal, there's a higher likelihood if you go from focusing on the goal to focusing on the behavior that actually achieves the goal, but then to focusing on the third layer, which we'll talk about in a sec. So we've set the goal, the dream life, what we want to acquire, what it would feel like, wrote it all down, perhaps made a vision board, however you want to address it, put it so it's top of mind, that's totally fine, as long as you're clear on what it is you want and why it's important to you. The next step, we need to design and figure out the character we must be that actually has those things. So for example, you're not going to be rich if you're stupid. You're not going to be healthy if you are fat and you don't exercise. You're not going to be happy if you sit around all day playing video games, right? At least most people wouldn't. You're not going to be productive if you're watching TV all the time or constantly distracted. So again, that's the goal. We need to now bring it a layer deeper and discover who is the character that we must be, how must we level this character up in order to actually achieve those goals in the first place. So now we're going from goal-oriented focus to process-oriented focus. You've heard this a lot, goal versus process, enjoy the process, don't worry about the goal. This is somewhat like that, but we're taking it a step deeper in a sec. So what does that character look like? If you're gonna be healthy and you're gonna set a good example for your kids or whatever it is that's part of your dream life, then your character is going to be fit. They're gonna be lean. Maybe they're gonna be X% body fat. They're gonna be smart, perhaps. They're gonna be wealthy. They're gonna be influential. They're gonna be educated. They're gonna be respected. You're essentially laying out character traits that you must have that you currently don't. If you had them, you would probably be at that goal already. You're never gonna achieve achieve a new goal by being the same person you are today. So now we've set up the character traits, we have the ideal goal, what we want and why it's important to us. We've now set up what sort of character traits do we need to actually achieve that goal. Now we're going to step 3, which is, again, deeper on the process. What are the actual behaviors that lead us to developing this character trait? And again, if this is all basic stuff and you're like, oh, I've heard this a million times, trust me, it's not. In the next 2 steps is when it really comes together in a way you've probably never heard of. So you're going to determine now some behaviors. We're listing out and we're getting crystal clear of what are the behaviors of the character that's going to achieve these goals. So for example, I want to be lean, fit, strong, healthy. Well, I'm going to be somebody that has X behaviors. Perhaps I meal prep every week. Perhaps I track my macros. Perhaps I work out a minimum of 4 times a week. Perhaps I do whatever it is. We have to lay that out. Okay, you're going to be somebody who's influential and respected. Well, perhaps that means that you stick by your word at all times. Your word is iron. Your word is never broken. So it's somebody who keeps their promises. Perhaps it's somebody who helps others in need. Or perhaps it's somebody who has insane work ethics. So every day you're working a minimum of X to X. You have a consistent sleep schedule. You're waking up at certain times. You're working X amount per week. Again, these are behaviors you need to consolidate and determine what are the behaviors of this person. It might seem overwhelming for now, but that's sort of the point. We want to get this down. You need to know, in order to achieve this dream life, this is who I must be. And now we're going to start closing the gap as to how you actually get there. So if you're going to be somebody who's rich and your character trait is you're smart with money, you're good with money, you're wealthy, then you're somebody who tracks their finances, who's always paying attention to them, who's saving a certain amount, who's investing a certain amount, who's researching and reading certain books. Again, these are behaviors we need to get down and understand what they are. If you're somebody who's focused, you're avoiding certain distractions, you're not watching TV, you're not playing video games, you're not doing certain events, you're careful with who you hang around with. Again, these are just examples that you need to become crystal clear on who it is, because oftentimes people will create a goal. Hey, I want to be fit. I want to lose 30 pounds. First and foremost, the goal is not going to be very specific. And secondly, they don't realize that they need to be a certain person that achieves that. They think that they can be the same person and just try these different habits and try this new diet and get to that point, and that never works. And the reason why is for the next step that I'm about to outline right now. So now what we're going to do to suddenly remove the ceiling off of our motivation and unlock it permanently, it's going to take a little bit of work at first, and then eventually the momentum will never stop. Now, we know who you must be. We know what behaviors the individual who you want to become is to live the dream life you want. So now what we need to do is this. You need to create an arch nemesis. You might be thinking, what do you mean arch nemesis? Trust me, this is the ultimate motivation. You need to personify, you need to create an enemy from which you are competing against. And who is this enemy? That's going to be up to you, but I can give you a couple examples. It could be the best version of yourself. It could be the person you just created in your mind and you know that you need to become to achieve this goal. It could be that person, and you can visualize it as yourself. You can visualize it as somebody else. Create this character. Perhaps you can embody it as somebody you knew back in the day that you said, okay, that's that person. They're working for that. They have what I want. Or a great example is a lot of people, they break up with their partner and it's a rough breakup and they get cheated on, they get left behind or whatever. What happens there? Why is the motivation suddenly at an all-time high for the next 10 years sometimes? It's for this very reason that suddenly there's an arch nemesis. Now again, most people, they don't create this arch nemesis. They throw their hands up, they say, whatever, I got cheated on, I'm a failure, I'm a loser. That's self-talk, that's something else, a different video. A lot of people, what happens is they now have a nemesis. They've created an arch enemy. Perhaps it's that person that cheated on them, right? Perhaps it's the person that betrayed them. It's the person that hurt them. And because this happened to them, they now have in their mind, okay, I'm going to show them up, right? As a chip on their shoulder. That is my nemesis, and that is what's going to keep you going. That's what gets you up in the morning when you don't feel like it. You say, well, I need to prove them wrong, right? So this chip on the shoulder, it's an egoic thing, no problem. We need to use the ego if we're gonna achieve these goals. Obviously, if we let the ego go entirely, I've done this in the past, the spiritual enlightenment type stuff, I'll make other videos on it. You let the ego go completely, you're actually not going to reach your goals. This manifestation by letting go completely doesn't make sense. You must take action, and an ego must be required to consistently get that action and get there quick. So The point is that Nemesis is powerful. So you need to picture and personify a Nemesis for you. It could be the person you just outlined, they already exist, and they're your competition. If you were training for a fight, you and the other person just got notified today that in 8 months you're gonna fight them. And in that 8 months, when the fight occurs, whoever loses dies and the whole family dies. Aren't you gonna spend every single second suddenly, regardless of how you feel, doing what you must to outperform that Nemesis, or at the very least match them? Of course you are. And that's the same concept at work here. Without a Nemesis, heroes don't exist. There can't be a hero without a villain. There's never motivation unless there's something or somebody to prove wrong or prove right, or do it for, do it against, fight against. So what we're gonna do is build that Nemesis. Now, my example is I picture either the best version of myself laid out with those character traits. What would he do in this situation? What is he doing right now? So every time I wake up in the morning and I gotta go to the gym and I'm ready to press that snooze alarm and I'm ready to be a little bitch, I say, hold on, what is my arch nemesis doing? Sometimes I'm picturing him in that perfect version, near perfect, right? This is what I'm pursuing. He's beating me if I don't get up. He's beating me if I don't do this. And not only that, sometimes I'll picture like a devil-like figure, okay? A devil, if you can imagine this powerful, all-powerful boss. Again, it's what works for me, right? I picture this person and I picture this entity, and they are together working against me. They want me to fail. Every time I don't do what I know I should have, they're laughing at me. They're happy. They're pumped about it. However you can personify it, they're laughing at you. You're a loser. You're gonna be nobody if you keep this up. You don't stand a chance. When that fight comes down, when the video game is done and you stand face to face with them, who's gonna win, right? So this is ultimate motivation. And there's one more step, mind you, there's one more step, which I'll get to in a second. You've now designed the exact character that achieves the life you want. And now you're gonna personify that character however is best for you. Perhaps as a devil-like figure, some sort of final boss type of figure. It's yourself, just way sexier, way more fit, way funnier, way more charismatic, way more everything, has the dream life, way richer, has the girl, has this, has the life, has the mansions, looks down on you like, look at this peasant, get out of my face. I know it sounds weird, maybe it sounds cheesy. I'm telling you, you apply this, it's gonna work. Now let's move on to number 5. You've personified the enemy. You've personified who you're going up against. Number 5 is the final piece. And you're gonna go to war with that person every single day. Now let me explain how this works. Okay, let me explain how this works. So by going to war with this person, there's gonna be one thing you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to ask yourself on a daily basis, what would this person or this being do? Or what would I do if I'm going to beat this person, this being, etc.? You have to start asking yourself this question. So a lot of people, they want the goal to be fit. They'll set the goal, but then the cake goes out in front of them and they're like, oh, I really wanna look good, but whatever, I'll do it tomorrow. Because they don't have that nemesis. They didn't personify who they need to be. Who are they up against? Why is it so important for them to reach that? You think you're gonna get fit because you wanna get in shape for a wedding? You think you wanna get rich just to get one girl or just to speak to more girls? Like, what are these superficial transient things? They're terrible. The day that you don't feel like making some money, the day you don't feel like working on the business, what motivation will you have to do it anyway? Discipline comes from a constant underlying motivation. If you weren't truly motivated, how are you going to be disciplined? That's not how it works. People say, well, it's discipline, not motivation. That's not true. The reason I have gotten up and gone to the gym every single time I didn't feel like it for the last 13 years is because I was motivated by the end goal. I was motivated by who I need to become. And I was clear that I was fighting against the stronger version of myself. I am the weaker version. And if I don't win the battle today, I have to try and go to sleep accepting the fact that I am not winning the war. I'm losing the war. I'm not becoming a better version of myself. You can call this toxic, you can call it too much, whatever it is. So you can justify and say, hey, I just want to be somebody that is happy. You know, I'm fine with this, that, and the other, no problem. This video is not for you. If you're somebody that wants to be exceptional in every endeavor in life, okay? I don't mean, yeah, be a billionaire and be fat. What's the point of being exceptional in one area? This is a video game character. Max all stats. When you build a video game character in the NHL game, you don't put 99 on one stat and you just leave the rest, maybe 50 there. You're building this character from the ground up. You want 99 everywhere. You want to be the best by a mile. At least that's what I want, and that's why this video is being created, because if that's what you want, that's what this is gonna get you. Now we're asking ourselves every day, what would this person do? What does this person not want me to do? Okay, now what this does is it has shifted our focus from the goal-oriented focus to the process or behavior-oriented focus, to the most important and the one that produces actual change, the identity process. You see, the best way to ensure you're going to become fit is to turn into a fit person mentally before you become it physically. Everything must manifest externally after it is created internally. Everything is a projection of your world on the inside. So I look at somebody who's out of shape, I know that they are an out of shape individual by their identity. It's simply manifested externally. Why do I look the way I do? Because when I was 14 years old and I looked at and I saw for the first time on the computer screen the only YouTube video, the only guy on YouTube that existed at the time, and he had a physique that I had never seen before in my life. As a real person, I saw a real person look this way and I said, this man looks like a superhero. I didn't know humans can look like this. I didn't know men can look like this. And I immediately decided in that moment, I am that person. I'm going to achieve that. And so now I always think like that person. And what happens? A decade later, I am that person. I am better than that person. I am manifested into a Greek god physique. And it only gets better every year because I'm battling the war against myself. If it was as simple as, oh, just get there and that's it, no. The motivation is limitless. It will never die. Even if my strength doesn't continue to go up forever, because it won't, eventually it's gonna stop. The motivation is endless because I'm still chasing the best version of myself at that age. Limitless motivation. You're asking yourself, what would this person do? And you're using that as the compass to guide your actions going forward. And just like that, just like most people, they try to quit smoking and they fail every time because they're the same person trying to quit smoking. You must be a person that doesn't smoke, and then quitting smoking is easy. How do I know? I've done it. I've quit smoking, I've quit alcohol, I've quit partying. I used to be the person that did those. I simply switched the identity. I said, would this person party? No. Would this person smoke? No. Would this person do this? No. Would this person hang out with that? No. You get up, you don't want to go to the gym. I can't even do it. I would get up, turn my alarm off on these cold wintry nights during lockdown, the lockdowns that happened, and I was working out at 4 a.m. at a gym, cold, no heating. Took me 1 hour to warm up. I could only work out for an hour and a half, so I'm cramming all this volume. The point is, I get there, I don't want to go, I would turn the alarm off. I'd close my eyes, get back in bed. It was so nice and warm. You know what? My eyes would open. I'd be scared because I knew that I'm losing. And I knew I would regret it, and I knew that's what the devil wanted, or whoever, personify. I use the devil. The devil laughs at me when I do that. But here's the funny thing that happens. We flip it on its head. So let me give you another example. On Sundays, I run 5Ks. And winter just finished here in Canada. I don't know if you can see behind me, it's still snowing here. It's March, almost middle of March. The point is, it was negative 20 degrees Celsius, negative 30 degrees Celsius. And I'm running 5Ks Sunday, 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 5K, alone, nobody on the street, freezing. I can't feel my face, can't feel my hands, can't feel anything. Feet are soaked and frozen. I'm running this 5K. I'm hating every second of it. And then I personify this devil entity is looking at me and laughing. They're taunting me. They're laughing at me. They're saying, look at this. Look at how weak he is. He's suffering trying to run this 5K. What a joke. So what do? I say, oh, I see you. I see this is exactly what you want. You want me to suffer. So I flip it. I say, you know what? I wish it was colder. I wish it was minus 40. And suddenly, when I say that, and I mean it, I say, I wish it was minus 40 right now. I wish I could not feel my entire body. This is it? This is all you got? Minus 20? What a joke. I would get upset. I get upset. This is it. Minus 20? 5K? I might just run 10. But all of a sudden, motivation spikes. And now, what was hard 1 second ago is now easy. The devil gets scared. You know, it's like that saying, you wake up in the morning and your feet hit the ground. You want the devil to say, oh shit, he's up. That's what I'm fighting against, because I'm fighting against that because the devil doesn't want me to be the best version of myself. And the best version of myself that has all those characteristics lives that dream life. I promise you, you do this, you try it, and you embody it. It sounds cheesy because I'm saying it out loud, but when you do it yourself, it doesn't sound or look cheesy when somebody else is looking at you like a madman thinking, oh my, what'd you just say? It's minus 20. You're gonna suddenly look around and say, all these people are weak, no motivation. They don't stand a chance. Because think about it, you're facing the ultimate adversary and you're laughing in their face saying you don't stand a chance. Now you look around at everybody else around you and say, Nobody stands a chance against me. I'm gonna get the job done. I'm gonna be who I said I'm gonna be. I'm gonna do what I need to do regardless of how I feel. Take the day or take the week to set this up for yourself, set up the adversary, and now every day, the constant, what would they do? This is unlimited motivation. You have an adversary that you're fighting every single day, and it's a worthy adversary because you built them in such a way that it will ultimately, at the end of the video game, this is my internalization, is I come face to face with them. That is when it's the fight. At the very end of the game, I'm done training, I'm done leveling up the character. Now I must face who my opponent is. Am I prepared for them? We'll see. That is all the motivation I need, and I hope that you got a lot of it from it as well. So this mental model is gonna break down again, taking you from looking at a basic, weak, easy goal to set, to looking at the process and behaviors that you must achieve to get to that goal, to then shifting your identity and personifying an adversary worth fighting every single day for the rest of your life. And I promise you, you don't have unlimited motivation from that point forward, after especially internalizing it for a week straight. And in that case, I don't know what else to tell you. I've built my company to 6 figures and it's on its way to 7. I have things that I want to achieve in my life that I can't speak of to anybody. And I never will, because they're so outlandish that people won't ever believe me. Working out, staying in shape, being the best character, and leveling up as much as you possibly could because why not? And that's it. That is how we gain limitless motivation. From now on, every single day you wake up will never be a day that you don't progress, will never be a day that you're not getting better, that you're not learning something new, that you're not enjoying life every step of the way. Because ultimately, that's the point of all of this, is when you're motivated every single day and you're making progress and you're being the best version of you, that is the ultimate fulfillment no matter what. There's gonna be ups and downs, but at the end of the day, you will ultimately always move forward, be fulfilled, be happy, and enjoying it the most out of life in the end. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. Hope you found it as valuable as this has been for me. I'll see you in the next video, and I'll see you at the top.